13 to 16 degrees Celsius. Generally cloudy start with patchy rain and drizzle. During the afternoon tomorrow, cloud will begin to break up with sunny spells developing. It'll be mostly dry tomorrow evening with lots of sunshine. Top temperatures on Friday 17 to 20 degrees Celsius. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with local news tomorrow morning. First bulletin with Michaela is at 7 o'clock. In the interim, you can check all the day's news, of course, on our website, highlandradio.com, and we'll have regular national and international updates. But for now, from the news team, have a very good evening.
Highland Sport is brought to you by Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure. Now stocking the latest O'Neill's official Donegal GAA range at michaelmurphysports.ie.
Well, it's a very good evening and welcome along to another edition of the Score programme, and I'm sure, as you can hear by the atmosphere, we're out and about once again. It is, of course, All-Ireland Football Final Week. We had our wonderful show on Monday at the Clanry Hotel where we had over 500 Donegal fans into the main function room in the hotel, and we talked some football and had a bit of live music, and it was a memorable night for sure, and it was a fantastic way to kick off Highland Radio's coverage of All-Ireland Final Week on Monday past. And we have, of course, been out and about at all the clubs this week as well with the madman that is Lee Gooch. I think that's the best way to describe him. And we're returning here tonight to Glen Swilly for the Score. It's a bit of a more intimate affair, so it is, but we thought we would go on the road. Last year we went to the home of Jim McGuinness up in Niamh Connell ahead of one of the big games. So we thought this week that we would go to the home of Michael Murphy, and we can't forget about Jack Gallagher either, who's also on the panel on the Donegal team, because it is a sensational week. It's a hugely important week for Glen Swilly and indeed for any club in the county that has a player involved in the county setup. And even if they don't, Donegal being part of an All-Ireland final means so much to those involved in Donegal football, and the atmosphere is certainly building. And we're just going to try and add to tonight from the wonderful setting of Glen Swilly. Gary McDade is the senior team, out training away at the moment in the pitch, and I can tell you they're working hard because they've got a club championship coming up very, very soon. So Gary will join us later. We'll also be joined by Copper McFadden. And as we told you earlier in the day, Dermot Brick Malloy, a winner in 2012, is going to give us his thoughts ahead of the big game. Plus we might get an odd story or two out of him as well, from back in the day when Donegal had those fantastic runs, of course, under Jim McGuinness in the first term. Now, Neil Gallagher was to join us tonight, but unfortunately he's been called away, and he sends his apologies. And we'll be speaking to various members here tonight as well of the Glen Swilly Club, including the chairman, Barry Malloy, is joining us, and we've also got a very important man in the senior setup, Nisha Enright. And he's the only link as well to Kerry. Gentlemen, very good evening. How are you doing?
Yes, Oisín. Not so bad, Oisín. You're welcome.
I suppose, Barry, it's welcome again. So it is, because it's the second time we've been here this week. We had all the kids here on Tuesday with Lee Gooch, but we're back for this show tonight. So again, thanks for having us.
No bother, Oisín. We've got more notice tonight, so it's good to have you. And look, it's a great week for the clubs and ourselves in particular. And I suppose just before we start off, I just want to thank, wish Michael and Jack, Jim, the management team, the players, the very best luck now on Sunday in the final from everybody from the club here, on behalf of the club. And I suppose thank yourselves as well for all the coverage that you've given to the team and coming out to clubs and going around the county and all the rest. It's kept everybody entertained.
We were just trying to keep Lee Gooch out of the office.
He was fond of the road this week, that's for sure. And then just our own club members, supporters, families, and etc. for their patience over the last 2 weeks. In terms of trying to get tickets sorted and all the rest. I know Sharon there has borne the brunt of it, I suppose, and done the bulk of the work. But and the vast majority have understood the process, I suppose, and it's just been a help to know that people have had that patience and so on. And then just our club officers, Sharon, David, Nadine, Paul, and anybody else that's helped. I think Sharon mentioned yesterday on the group that we do all the full-time jobs, although I know I'm off for the summer, so you can't put me in that bracket. But it's difficult at times. Yeah. You have to say that too, and I know from around the county that it's the same for everyone. So everybody's just trying their best, and we're trying to get people sorted as best we can. So that just important to mention that.
Yeah, I said it as well with Greg during the week, but people need to bear in mind that these are volunteers, and some have taken days off work to try and get people tickets, and it's starting to settle down a bit now. People know who have tickets and people know who don't, and they should be enjoying this period now, because it doesn't come around too often, so it does, and it has been hectic, but listen, you wouldn't change it for the world, Barry.
No, absolutely not. Like, I mean, it's a good problem to have at the end of the day, but as I said, it does put pressure and stress on club officers at times. Yes, that's what we sign up for when we take on these roles, but as I said, we're everybody, no matter what club it's in, is only trying their best, and that's all we can do. I know there's people out there disappointed, but ultimately, hopefully everybody can get beyond that and get behind the team now for Sunday.
Yeah, and obviously from a club point of view, having two men involved in the county panel, Jackson there, and he's going well, he's a future star, and listen, Michael's there, and we all know about Michael, and we all know about his contribution to Glen Swilly as well, and it's added to the whole thing, so it is, but having Michael back and the way his comeback has been immense for the club, so it has.
Yeah, look, I think after leaving Croke Park last year and that defeat to Galway, everybody could see that there was one piece of the jigsaw missing. I know, obviously, when Michael made the decision back 2 or 3 years ago to call it a day, that he obviously thought long and hard about it himself, and with Mick and Mary and so on, like, and maybe a lot of us thought that we hadn't seen, or that he had more to give, but obviously at that stage he felt that he had done. But in fairness, probably the fact that he's had that break, he got re-energised, maybe just getting interest back in it more so than anything, and then being able to stand back and watch the boys last year and how they did, and obviously Jim being back on board, you can see he's just enjoying it. And I think that's at the core of it all. That's what's benefiting the team now the most, and it's brilliant to see him back there. And then for Jack then to be involved as well, like as a young player with a future ahead of him. Yeah. It's great for us as a club. Yeah,
I'm sure Michael, when he's here and he speaks to the younger club players, and I would say this is very similar to the county setup as well, because there's a lot of young men that in that setup that haven't been in this situation before, but Michael has been. And his experience at all sorts of levels will be benefiting the young players of the county, but more so from a club point of view. Yeah. When he's back here, he helps all these young guys as well.
Sure, like he's been involved with minors there for 2-3 years, I think, Nisha, isn't it? And under 21s as well. And like no better man whenever he has time then to roll the sleeves up and get involved with underage. And you can see the impact that he's had on our young players. Like it's definitely rubbed off on them, and I suppose he just commands that respect, and he has that wee bit of authority through which you need at times, and he can guide young players and kind of keep them on the right path. So it's brilliant.
Nisha, we'll bring you in as well. Obviously, you're working hard out there with Gary, so you're getting these boys primed for championship.
Yeah, he drives you hard, Gary, so he does, and have to make sure that the water is cool and even iced. That's the level that Gary expects these days, But
there's a bit of Kerry blood in,
yeah.
Do they trust you at this time of year? Listen, you're the link to Kerry in the club. So you are, but listen, to be honest, you're a Donegal man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So my dad was born in Tralee, in Castle Street in Tralee. Yeah, his father was a publican, and I suppose a few years ago there, I took my own boys down to get a feel for where my dad was born and the town itself, and we ended up cycling up Malls Gap and down to Kenmare. We had a lovely weekend. We've done it a few times, but my dad he went to after he qualified, he went to secondary school in St Brendan's in Killarney, which is a great GAA tradition. So it has in the Hogan Cup, and studied UCC. Then went to the missionaries out in Nigeria in 1956 for 2 years, and then decided he wanted to travel a bit of Ireland, so he ended up in Donegal through Fermanagh originally, and what kept him there, I suppose, I was just saying to Barry off air there that when he met a dairy woman, that was him kind of nailed then. Yeah. So he met a dairy woman.
He wasn't going home after that,
and she wasn't going south. That's for sure. Anyway, so those days when he drove up to Donegal, his first time when he got the post in Malin, it was the Malin area that he was working in for his 40 years, and we moved to Carndina in the 70s, but. He had to drive around Bundoran, and that lengthy trip from Kerry, I suppose maybe he would have taken it anyway those days, but the troubles hadn't broken out at that stage, but still it was sort of to sizzle 1960, And he stayed there to 1996, and he passed away in 2008. Lived a really healthy life, a good life, but a true Kerryman through and through, no question about that.
Right, okay. And listen, do you be in contact with your relations? What's the vibe down there at the minute? Because we've been listening to a few things on Radio Kerry and other media outlets over the last couple of days, and they're sounding very confident. So they are.
Yeah, well, you do want...
There's that brashness about the Kerry people, so there's that...
So my late aunt, there's 3 children there, the Smiths, and Michael there, he's just glued. He would have been a massive Con Houlihan fan. We all remember Con, a great writer from Kerry many years ago. But they would have huge respect for Donegal, massive respect for Donegal, But at the same time, in a final, they believe that they can take Sam down to Kerry, and back down to the kingdom, and we'll see. But at the end of the day, it'll be a very tight match. They realise that too, and as I say, massive respect for all the whole, and obviously Jim McGuinness too.
It's funny, Lee Gooch was down there during the week, as we all know. I think Lee Gooch has been mentioned more in the sports programmes this week than he has in his entire. And if I threw a football in front of him, he wouldn't know what to do with it. But he knew how to go to Kerry to stick a flag in the home of Gooch Cooper. So he did. But he was saying that there's not as much bunting up, there's not as much flags up, not getting the same vibe down there. Yeah. But I did try to say to him, it was 3 o'clock in the morning that you're running around Kerry. He says that doesn't seem to be the same feeling down there. Yes, there's an All-Ireland final or something big, but it's not like up here, because here is just gone crazy altogether.
But the carrot is massive too for Kerry, to beat the Donegal and Kerry, the 2 best teams in the country by a shadow of a doubt. They've beaten also teams on their way too, and they just love to get one more. You just know that they would, but I really think that going down the home straight, it's tight. Donegal will get over the line. Yeah,
Michael may play a big part in that.
I think
Mr.
so.
Murphy could have an influence on it. So anyway, right, your thoughts on the game, Barry, before we let you move on and get all your hard work as chairman completed before the weekend. How do you think it's going to go?
I suppose, if you look at the pattern of the games this year, most of the games have been tight in the first half. A couple of points in it, whether we were down a couple of points or up a couple of points. I just think the running game in the second half, I know obviously the Cliffords and all the rest, and Kerry do have quality over the field, and I suppose their style of play where they're trying to move the ball through the foot more so than through the hand is something that can do damage. But I think the running game in the second half, when it comes down to it, I don't think Kerry have the legs. I think when it comes down to it, I just think the hunger as well. There's a serious hunger now. You can see it in the boys. They know exactly what they're doing. Everybody knows their role, and I think when it comes down to it and the games there we won, I think Donegal drive on one by a couple of points.
Okay. Would you be allowed back into Kerry if we won on Sunday?
Well, I do have friends down there, family as well, but they'll get over it, you know what I mean? Yeah. So they'll be all right. 38 they have, they'll have to wait a while to get the 39th and the 40th, I'd say.
Good stuff. So you're thinking we're going to 1-2 then, are you, Nisha?
I would agree there with Barry completely that we know who the key players for Kerry are. We know the trio. We know them. But we have key players all over the pitch, and I just think we'll have enough.
Good stuff. I hope you're right. Barry Malloy, chairman of the club, and also Nisha Enright, who is the kit man with the seniors, but you've got a job as well on the board. The executive here is assistant secretary. Is that right?
Yeah. Barry coaxed me into that, so we did there last November. So anyway,
was it easy?
There's a lot of coaxing going on all over the place at times.
Well, listen, gentlemen, many thanks for joining us. I'll let you get back to your duties. And what we'll do now is we'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll have more on the score here, live from Glen, Swilly GAA Club after these.
Highland Sports is brought to you by Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure. Now stocking a full range of Donegal jerseys and leisure wear at michaelmurphysports.ie.
From all at Sprat Fireplaces, New Mills, Letterkenny. Best of luck to Donegal in the All-Ireland final. May your passion burn bright and your teamwork keep the heat on. Sprat Fireplaces, proud to support our home team.
We're serving up summer at Dunn Stores, and it's barbecue season. Mix and match 3 for €10 across a fantastic range of meat and fish. Try something vibrant like succulent king prawns. Or enjoy Board Bia quality assured meats like piri piri chicken wings or new hot honey pork belly slices and many more. Any 3 for just €10. Plus, save at the till with a 10 off 50 grocery voucher. Dunn Stores, always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used on next grocery shop of €50 or more.
Since I switched to Hidden Hearing, I can hear it all.
You could save up to €3,000 off invisible hearing aids. Save when you switch to us, upgrade, or save on your very first hearing aids. Pre-phone 1-800-370-000. Switch and save at hiddenhearing.ie. You should go to the hearing experts. T's and C's apply.
FBD doesn't stand for Friendly Business Ducks. Or Freelance Beatbox Department. FBD stands for support. We support businesses and communities across Ireland. Visit your local branch to talk to your FBD insurance team and see how we can support your business. FBD Insurance. Support. It's what we do. FBD Insurance Group Limited, trading as FBD Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
McCullough Jewellers in Letterkenny are synonymous with fine jewellery, quality watches and giftware. With stores at Main Street, Letterkenny and the Letterkenny Shopping Centre, or online at ormccullough.com. You can choose from their quality product range in a relaxed atmosphere, and their sales staff will be happy to help you make the right choice, whatever the occasion. McCullough Jewellers, making moments magical for generations.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
Time checking here in Highland on this Thursday evening. It's 20 minutes past 7.
Highland Sport is brought to you by Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, the Northwest leader in sports equipment for clubs and schools at michaelmurphysports.ie.
And you're welcome back to Glen, Swilly GAA Club, the score programme out on the road tonight to look forward to the All-Ireland football final this weekend. And of course, we are in association with Michael Murphy Sports, who have been very, very busy over the last number of weeks. And we're going to talk about Michael now, because I'm delighted to say I'm joined by his father, Mick, and he's got his right-hand man, Jared McGrenra, alongside him. He's a very worried-looking man. It's not about football. It's about what I'm going to ask you. Mick, how are you?
I'm good, Oisín. I suppose the first thing I want to say, fair dues to you for coming out here to the club this evening. And I must give great credit to Highland Radio for the great coverage they've given this last week, 10 days, to all the communities and all the clubs in the county. You know, for this great occasion, an All-Ireland final, it doesn't get any better than that. And everybody has got a kick out of it, and the crack is good, everything is going well, and hopefully we'll have a good day on Sunday. Yeah,
well, we're trying our best to get through as many clubs as we can and be part of this, because I know, talking to you beforehand, Mike, this doesn't happen very often, so we need to embrace what's going on here.
Correct. It's great for the young generation now that's out there all over Donegal. They're witnessing something that they deserve. All the young footballers, all the youth that don't play football, boys and girls, it's a whole new sensation for them, and what a summer they're going to have. And if Donegal wins on Sunday, it'll be another couple of great weeks ahead. It'll shorten the summer for them, and that's what it's all about. Everybody is getting a crack out of it, young and old.
Yeah, we give away Michael Murphy Sports goodie bags that are showing Monday night, and Brenda Venny was making the joke that we had a couple of Michael's locks and curls and them to give away, but in the house, Mike, do you and Mary get to enjoy this week, do you?
Yeah, I love these occasions, and no more than here in our own club. It's when these occasions come around, you make the best of them, because they don't come around all the time. But it's fantastic, you know, looking forward here on Sunday. All those people going up the road to Crow Park, hopefully going up safely, hopefully coming back down safely. And the main thing is that they all enjoy it. But Mary and myself do enjoy it, yeah.
Do you be filled with pride when you watch your man on the field and what he does for Donegal football? Because he's having a big shift this year. He come back out of retirement, Mick. And some people were questioning what role will he play. And by God, he's playing a very prominent role this year. Is it something that fills you with pride all the time, Mick?
It does, yeah. It's great, you know, when you rear somebody like that. He's been a lucky player too, you know. He has got a lot of breaks, but as Mary says to me, you know, when he plays in around the 14, plays in around the square, he has little chance of getting a yellow card. It's only when he goes out the field. And that's the worry Mary has, that he gets this yellow card. But he has done well this year. I think he's only got maybe 2 yellow cards so far this year.
All right. That's a good ratio, was it?
Well, it's good compared to Marty Duffy used to give him a yellow card in every game. Yeah. So we've moved away from that.
Yeah, but he's going well, Mike. He's playing good football.
It's good, and it wasn't easy, I suppose, getting back to the level he got back at. But listen, he has great footballers around him. He's a brilliant management team, and these young fellas took to him and they embraced him. They brought him on board. They worked to get him inside with them, which was good too. Yeah. So it seemed to be very seamless, the whole lot of it. So. Hopefully on Sunday he'll have another good game, and hopefully the team will have a very good game and we'll come out the other side of it with a victory.
Hopefully so. Jared, how are you doing? If you're watching our stream, Jared got the working trousers off because he was out laying sods. So he was when we arrived in the goals, and he's the shorts on now, so he's showing the legs off on our stream. But Jared, standing out there at the pitch, watching the guys training, watching your team changing the sods, and Nadine and Breda and Sharon and lots of other ones are all mulling about here and doing things. There's a fantastic club spirit out here, so there is.
There's a great buzz about it at the minute. Well, there's always a great buzz out in Glen, Swilly, I suppose. And just on the thing about Michael, we probably take Michael for granted out here, when he pulls everybody in the club together. We're very lucky. We have a great chairman and Barry, and I know Sharon done tireless work with the tickets and the committee and all that. And it's, if you want something done, they just tell you to go and do it. If you want to put up flags, they say, just go and get the flags and put them up. If you want to put up signs, go and put the signs up. And if you want what we're doing tonight, the sods and the goalmouth. We had Terman, your team here a couple of weeks ago, Oisin, and we had a case of 2 penalties. Ours was lucky enough. Our young Scot scored our penalty. His penalty spot wasn't too bad, but Dara missed his, and the boys were complaining after that penalty spots. Gary, as usual, was complaining about the shape of the pitch. So
I thought you were going to say the Terman boys was complaining about the shape of the pitch.
No, the Terman boys didn't say nothing, in fairness. So it was mentioned at the club, and we just said we'd just go and do it and get it done and get it ready for. I see Brick Malloy down there, so hopefully he'll be missing a few. The next day he's back here. I know the last day he was here, he must have 3-1 the game. So.
And you like rubbing it in, don't you? Brick, you'll get your chance to fire back in a wee while when we get you up here. But just on the Michael thing, like, he was involved in underage teams. It's not that he's just a county player who plays a senior football with Glen Swilly. He's literally knee deep here in everything that goes on. Jared?
I see Braca down there. I think me and Braca took...
Braca's John McFadden, by the way, for our listeners in Highland that don't know who Braca is.
2 years ago we won the Division 1 under 13, and then last year we won the Division 1 under 14 league championship. We thought, me and Braca thought we were doing a brilliant job, or Braca thought he was doing a brilliant job, and me helping him. And then at the end of the year we get the review from Michael, and there's no airs and graces about Michael. And I thought, geez, we're way up here, we're bound to be up here, we'll get plenty of praise at this meeting. Yeah. And surely there was plenty of praise, but he was able to tell us too all the things we were doing wrong, so that's the level of commitment he has for this club. Yeah. And even this morning I met him along the road. He was going to his work and I was leaving my young fella down at John McMonagle's there, and he phoned, and our minors were in a Division 1 Northern Board final last night against Gweedore, and Gweedore popped us by a couple of points. But I mean, he spent 10 minutes on the phone chatting about the minors and who played well and how did they do, and going through nearly everything. But I'm sure Copper had him filled in from the night before, so he's just checking to see were you up to date.
Yeah, and having Jack part of the panel as well, it's a fantastic experience for a young man like that.
Jack is a great young fella. Now, I played with Jack's uncle. He's a legend in this club, Brendan Gallagher. Jacko, we called him. And it's funny how Jack got his. Brendan was called after his grandfather, Jacko. That's how he got the name. And Jack's called after, that's how he got the name. But Jack is a great young fella, and he comes from a real good working family. They work hard. We have another man too, James Gallagher, from Cloughaneely. He won a championship here. Yeah. He lives down the road there, and he's involved with coaching Sean Patton. So his young fellas are playing here as well. So he's part of it as well. It's great for us as well. So. Yeah.
Right. So then, on the game on Sunday, Jared, we always meet you along the way in the shop or on the road, and you're always talking football, and you seem to have a good enough head on your shoulders to talk about a football. What's going to happen at the weekend?
Well, look, if we all knew what would happen at the weekend, it'd be great. But no, I think it's going to come down. We have probably they're chatting about the best player ever to play football, David Clifford. But I think in Glen Swilly we have a man that we would argue as the best player ever to play football. And I think it could come down to which one of them has the biggest influence in the game. I know Clifford is more an individual player, and I know Michael can drag the other 14 along with him. And I think if Michael plays the way we know he can play, the other 14 or 20 that will be involved on Sunday for Donegal, I think they'll all row on behind him, and we should get over the line.
Yeah. And Mick,
yeah,
how's Sunday going to go? What are you thinking now? Because you've a wise head on you, Mick, when it comes to football, that's for sure.
I think Donegal will win by 3 points. I think Donegal overall, they'll get more out of their players maybe than Kerry, even though Kerry have good players. But as I said to somebody the other day, Kerry didn't win 38 All-Irelands smiling at the opposition. They're a ruthless outfit when it comes to a final. There's no two ways about that. And they have, but I think this Donegal team can match them. They're excellent players and an excellent bench. And I hope it goes well for Jim and the boys.
Yeah, hopefully so. The very best of luck to Michael and to Jack, and best luck to you and Mary as well, because it's a big occasion for Mum and Dad, Mick. And Jared, thank you for joining us. You enjoy the game at the weekend.
All do.
Aye. And we'll catch up again soon. I appreciate you taking time out of laying the sods to come talk to us. So it is. Okay, time for another break in the score. And Dermot Brick-Malloy is up next after these.
Get all your GAA essentials at Michael Murphy Sports, the go-to place for outdoor training gear and more at michaelmurphysports.ie.
Donegal contest their first All-Ireland final in 11 years this weekend. Jim McGuinness's side face off with Kerry, knowing one more win will give them the Sam Maguire Cup. Highland's Road to Croker has its final stop at Croke Park on Sunday afternoon, and you can join the Highland team for extensive coverage of the 2025 All-Ireland Senior Football Final in association with Highland Motors Letterkenny. Thinking of a new 252? Check out Highland's great offers on all their award-winning ranges. See highlandmotors.ie.
Uisce Éireann is Ireland's national water utility, responsible for delivering clean, safe and reliable national public drinking water and wastewater services for Ireland. For any questions about public water services or to report an issue in your area, we can be contacted 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 1800 278 278 or visit water.ie. Uisce Éireann. Delivering water services for Ireland.
You know that guy I've been seeing?
Yeah?
Turns out my sister's been seeing him too.
Oh, really?
And I heard he's been seeing Siobhan at number 56. And Declan.
Your brother?
Yep.
Specsavers opticians and audiologists own their stores, so your care is their business, which can make them rather popular.
I've got something to tell you. I've got half an hour with him this afternoon.
Specsavers, your care is our business.
Meet Frank. He made big savings on his car insurance when he made the switch to Outsurance.
Hi, I'm Frank. It's true. I saved €182 when I made the switch. And with the out bonus, I know I'll get 10% of my premiums back in cash after 3 years claims free.
Great stuff. For a competitive car insurance quote like Frank's, call 1-800-600-400 or visit outsurance.ie. Real people, unreal savings. Outsurance. You always get something out. Based on a like-for-like policy comparison, the customer received a gratuity for their participation. Out bonus calculated less taxes and levies. Acceptance criteria, terms and conditions apply. Car and home insurance is underwritten by Outsurance DAC. Outsurance DAC trading as Outsurance is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Join us at McCafferty's Dunlow during this year's Mary from Dunlow Festival for an unforgettable live music lineup featuring the Whistling Donkeys, All Folked Up, Rhythm and Sticks and more. Plus, watch Donegal versus Kerry on County Donegal's largest screen. McCafferty's Dunlow, your #1 destination for music, sport and great crack.
Highland Sport is brought to you by Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure. Now stocking the latest O'Neill's official Donegal GAA range at michaelmurphysports.ie.
And you're welcome back here to Glen Swilly GAA Club for our score programme tonight, which we've taken out on the road. We did, of course, have our big show when Lee Gooch has been out. We've had huge crowds at all the clubs, so we decided to keep this a bit of a low-key affair. Now, when I look down, there is a nice scattering of people that have joined us, including Michael Gallagher. We've got a number of club members here as well. There is about 300 seats out in the hall. when they heard Brick Malloy was coming, they thought we better get them out. But no, the bingo was on here last night, Dermot.
Right, not so bad.
The bingo was on last night, so that's why we've got all these seats out. But anyway, how are you? Good to see you.
Aye, good, Oshy, not too bad. Hey, I'm hoping now that the 4 tyres are still on the car when I go back out. So, no.
What sort of greeting did you get at the gate there?
Oh, very good. All
right.
No, I must say, hey, massive respect for Glen Swilly. Like, brilliant to be asked down tonight, and like the respect between themselves. Obviously, Niamh Conlon and Glen Swilly over the last 15 years, there's nothing, it's a great rivalry and a lot of respect for them. So that's brilliant to be down here tonight,
Yeah, it's good to be here. And they're going to get that sorted for you.
Aye, that's good to know.
For you, so we're recording to Jared now. But listen, it's a great week. You're looking fantastic up in Glenties, by the way. All the bunting and the 13 men that's involved, even the bus driver has got a life-side cutout on top of a lamppost.
Yeah,
so you're going all out up there.
They're like celebrities up there at the minute. Hey? That's great to see. Look, this doesn't come around too often, as you know, and I think it's very important that the whole public in Donegal and obviously in Glenties, obviously with Jim and with so many of the lads there, that really experience it and enjoy it, because as I say, it doesn't come around too often. So it's just a brilliant buzz, and like everyone's looking forward now. Hopefully tickets, everyone's got sorted, etc., and looking forward now to the game on Sunday.
Yeah. Before we look at the game on Sunday, you obviously have an All Ireland in your back pocket. You were involved in a group with Jim. What was it like back then in 2012, experiencing All Ireland final week as a player?
Yeah, I suppose looking back on it, like I think it was pretty much like it was laid back enough attitude within the lads. Like I think the boys you wanted to be around the boys, you wanted to be around the whole group. I think that's what it was. I mind the last Thursday of the training that year, you were just looking forward to getting on the bus on Saturday together and getting up to the hotel, etc., and just being with the lads, because it had always been out in streets and stuff. Like there's a lot of, I suppose, chat that you don't want to listen to as such as a player, but it was very, very laid back. I suppose Jim's like that. I think he lived the group well, I suppose calm and relaxed, and there'll not be much pressure on the boys. Like, they're going to go into Sunday with, they know what they have to do, and, they know the right attitude that they have to bring to it. So, yeah, I think it'll be a very calm approach, this week for them.
Yeah, there's a short turnaround compared to when you guys, I think it was 4 weeks the first time, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4 weeks.
How did you just block out all the noise? How did you just go about doing that?
Well, I suppose there wasn't much social media back then.
Yeah, I suppose so.
It was probably a big plus for players, and there was no one reading papers or nothing like that. Listening to obviously shows like that. We were well blocked away that way, and stuff like up for the match. Before the All Ireland on the Saturday, there was none of that. We were told to get to bed and close the curtains and get to sleep in. So, I think it's probably harder now because. You wake up in the morning, for most people now, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, it's on this and that, but the players will be well guarded from that. I'm sure, we know ourselves from the past, if there's any stuff, you just get rid of it off your phone and you focus on what's ahead,
Yeah, and the morning of the actual final, the day of the final, Brick, obviously you get into your game zone, you get your game head on. Were you totally confident that morning that we're going to win an All-Ireland here?
Yeah, definitely. I think the whole way through 12, you could see there was just that attitude within the group that we were going to win the All-Ireland, and I think by the time we got to the final, we were so confident that, we were going to deliver on the day, and we'd worked so hard, and, we'd practiced a lot. It was just thinking back there, the amount of work that was done on Michael's goal, the 2 weeks leading up to that final, that was done religiously for 4 or 5 hours up in Johnstown House one weekend. And whatever it was, a couple of minutes into the game, it delivered. So you just look back on things like that this week, and it's really interesting looking back on it.
Yeah, and you just had the time back then to sort of execute the plan a lot more, because obviously that you had 3 and 4 weeks in that occasion. So you did. They don't have it this time, and even Jim said himself that the training sessions, not that they're not as intense, but they're not as long, because a lot of this is all about recovery, the way the weeks are flying in, so it is. So is there enough time there for Donegal, and even for Kerry, to do to Donegal, to get a certain type of plan in place and work on something like that?
Yeah, well, probably not, with the short turnaround. You come out of the Meath game, and Kerry obviously come out of the Tyrone game, your body's sore until that Wednesday, Thursday, so you have very little time to really work on it. And then obviously you're the training camp last weekend, etc. So you're down to maybe 2-3 sessions to get maybe something worked on, but it's definitely a lot different when it was back in 2012 and 2014. Like, we had the 3-4 week gap, whilst now really all you have is the 1 week to prepare for it. So look, it's not much. I don't think will change what the two teams tactically wise. I think both teams, Kerry will stick to their traditional kick and play, while Donegal will play their normal, running game. So that's the way I probably see it, planning out.
Yeah. Neil Gallagher was to join us tonight, but he sent his apologies. So it's just teed us up. If you want to tell us a story about Neil in 2012?
No.
Or 2014, you're more than welcome. Brick.
No. Good man, Neil. No, Jesus, great time for him. Got on really well with all the Glen Swilly boys. Obviously, he would have played underage football with Michael over the years, and got to meet Neil then, obviously, when I got into the senior panel in 2010 under John Joe. So really got close to him, and a really good lad, and the crack with him over the years is just, I'm sure the ones in Glen Swilly knows, he's great banter, so top man. And just thinking back on the performances that he had in 2012, the Cork game
was immense.
Just coming over the road thinking that tonight, if Michael Langan or Hugh McFadden or Kieran can produce anything close to that on Sunday, Donegal will be very, very close come 5:30 on Sunday evening.
Well, Neil played midfield for Donegal back during that period, and obviously Kieran's hanging around the middle. You got Michael hanging around, the two Michaels actually hanging around the middle.
That's right.
So it is. How key is that area of the field going to be, do you feel, on Sunday?
Yeah,
because there's lots of talk about kickouts and midfield and that sort of thing. Is that going to be what's going to decide the game?
I think so. I think if you look at both keepers, Sean, we know what Sean brings to the whole thing. He's a massive platform for Donegal on their attack. And I think Donegal have done so well. I've been really impressed with Hugh McFadden this season. I think he's not getting a lot of praise from the outside, kind of the outside of the country, but I think people know in the county what he brings to it. The amount of ball that he broke the last day, and obviously Kieran Moore, Pater Mogan coming on to Donegal Galler, that's a massive platform for Donegal, and you could see that against me that continued to happen, especially towards the last 10 minutes of the first half. You could see that coming. And then Kerry, Joe Connor's been fantastic for Kerry this year, massive presence in midfield, and they probably feel if they can get a good chunk of possession around the middle through him, it'll go a long way for them. But it's going to be a massive, massive battleground on Sunday for that there bunch around the middle,
Yeah, it certainly is. Your own man, Finbar Rorty, you can nearly say a shoe-in for Young Player of the Year, the way he's gone. And that performance in the semi-final against Meath was fantastic from a young man that's only 18 years of age. And there he is in a senior semi-final. And the energy, the pace, listen, he's still a young, raw footballer. But by God, he's a good footballer, so he's been fantastic. And you know all about him, sure. He's knee height.
He's brilliant. Yeah. Look at he's an absolute credit. We're absolutely delighted that he's playing with Niamh Connell, to be honest. I was saying that in Croke Park, that isn't it great that Finbar plays for our club, because just a great lad, and you could see why Jim was obviously trying to get him in last year. To get playing, and obviously the age thing copped up, but great lad. There's not too many lads that have come in to Niamh Connell over the years where the hair in the back of your neck would stand up. And when Finbar came in the first night for us at senior level, I was just wowed by him. And we beat Gweedore out in the league final out in O'Donnell Park there last year, and Finbar was playing, and I said, that's probably going to be the last time for the next 15, 20 years that Finbar plays club football with us. So, no, he's a brilliant future ahead now, and he's a massive part of that Donegal team. He's a big, big heartbeat. His tackling, his pressing, he really is the heartbeat of that Donegal defence at the minute. You can see he's getting the licence to press first, and then obviously get the double up and triple ups after that. But at the minute he's there turning boys over on his own, and that's extremely hard to do, especially county level. So all credit to Finbar, great lad.
Yeah, and he's one of a group of young players that blow me away, because we're doing commentary, and you're looking at the clock and there's 69 minutes there, and Finbar Rorty's sprinting from one end of the field to the other. Kieran Moore's at it. Shane O'Donnell, these types of players. Now, it's a really pacey game. The metrics have all gone up.
Yeah.
But how are these young fellas able to do this? And they look like Kieran Moore, that game against Mayo, where he scored the winning point. The guy that was in front of him had the freshest legs in the field of Mayo.
That's right.
He just left him standing there.
Aye.
And this is after a full game, and it was warm that day too, if I'm right in thinking, and the height.
They're such great athletes. I'm so impressed with Kieran Moore too this last 2 years. This pace of him and it's just his ball possession and everything. He's so good on the ball, like, and himself and Finbar, like, you can see that they're driving at every opportunity they get, like, and it's a massive platform, as I said, for the likes then of your Michaels, your Oshins, Conor O'Donnell, Shane, you know. So yeah, look at, I think Donegal need to bring a lot of that on Sunday. Kerry as well, you know, they have a lot of good players. I'm looking at their half back line, Brino Bugley, Gavin White, like, these boys need to be watched too. You know, they're good footballers, they have a lot of pace as well, as much as the two boys have. So it's going to be a fascinating battle between those type of players that are trying to get up the field. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it certainly will. Obviously, there's a lot of running in this game, but Kerry seem to be kicking the ball a bit more. Some were saying that there's two different styles here: Donegal running and transition and powerful, pacey, and Kerry are bringing a bit of that and kicking it. But who, in your mind, has adapted better of the two sides to these new rules, Dermot?
Well, it probably took a while for Kerry to get used to it. I think they went a lot of games at the start of the year, they didn't hit any 2-pointers, and they struggled from that point of view. But obviously the Meath defeat turned a lot of heads down in Kerry that time. Like, you could see that their bit was between their teeth then after that there. But I suppose looking at Donegal, they probably haven't changed too much from the Jim McGuinness era the first time round. It's the same principles basically that's in place, but they're definitely a much fitter team. You know, you can see with the pace of them, etc. Like, it's fantastic to see, like, and it's incredible to watch the likes of Kieran Moore and Finbar Rorty, and even, you know, Shane O'Donnell. I think's having an absolutely incredible year too. Like, he's zipping around the field, he's in so much possession, and I would love to see what stats he had for the semi-final, because he just seemed to be stuck on every ball. So, you know, if you're from Kerry and you're looking at that, you know, you put a man marker on him, etc., stuff like this. So he's a big part of the Donegal. He's kind of the orchestra of that forward line, to be honest. To me, it looks at the minute like.
Yeah. We're talking about the young players. You've been involved with teams that had Ryan McHugh, Michael Murphy, even Hugh McFadden to that extent. Who else was involved in 14? Patrick was involved before. Like, Patrick's Donegal's most decorated player when it comes to winning titles, and he could add to that on Sunday. But them guys were there in 2014 when we lost to Kerry, and have experienced that. And the likes of Michael and Patrick had the experience of a couple of years before that, where they were involved in winning the Sam Maguire. So how crucial is it for those older players at this stage, and particularly now a couple of days out from an All-Ireland final, that they talk to these young boys to manage the situation? This situation they're going into, we will dress it up as the greatest sporting event in this country, as the senior football final and the hurling final. But from the camp, as we said earlier, they dampen down the noise. And maybe these experienced players have a role in that. Would you feel, off the back of the experience that you had with them guys?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, I think if anything crops up, I think it's great that you have the likes of Michael, Ryan, Paddy that were there before. Hugh was there in 14. So if there's any issues or anything pops up, at least the boys have been there before. They've done it on the biggest day. Obviously, they've suffered. They've seen both sides of it. So it's great to have that experience. Like, it's crucial for young players. All-Ireland football final day is a massive day in anyone's career, and it's great that you have the likes of Michael, obviously, who is, you know, standout leader with Donegal, and he will deliver, you know, the right messages towards the group. I know that from being in with him. So I think it's just, I still think the whole Jim factor that their team will be very calm going into the weekend. I don't think there'll be too much shouting and roaring going on. They know what they have to do. And I think they'll be very grounded going into Grove Park. And obviously when they hit that sod, then it's time to go. Yeah.
Two other players I want to mention. The first is your own clubman as well, and your friend, Kieran Thompson.
Yeah.
He's had a big year. So he has. He's been playing his part on all this. And obviously there's a man in the house, his older brother has a Celtic cross, so he does. Kieran's just, 70 minutes away from adding to that in the Thompson house. And he'll be gunning for it, there's no doubt about it.
Definitely, and great friends with Kieran, obviously, and Anthony, and I was the first thought going out from Croke Park the last day was Kieran Thompson gets to play in an All-Ireland final. As a Glenties person and as a good friend of him, that was massive for me to know he's going to get that chance, because a great servant for Donegal football. There's been some great servants throughout the years, but I think Kieran's one that I don't think he's missed any championship games in a long time. And he's a massive leader for us as well, obviously, in Niamh Connell. And once this is over, Kieran drops back into the Niamh Connell and just gives it his all again, like he would with Donegal. And I think that's what brings such a good positive attitude out of him throughout the group as well. And I know there's a lot of respect in that Donegal team for him.
Yeah. What about David Clifford? How are we going to go? There's a lot of talk about how Donegal is going to handle him. Can we win an All-Ireland title? Somebody said this to me during the week. He scored 1-6 the last day, was it? Can we win an All-Ireland title if David Clifford's going to score 1-4, 1-5? Because the way the scores are, you mentioned 2 pointers earlier. The semi-finals, Kerry scored 1 from play. We got 1 from a free, so the 2 pointers weren't really a factor in the games.
Yeah.
But the front 6, and Donegal have such a huge range of scores. Now they could have 10, 11 different scores in a game. But the scoreboard keeps ticking over all the time. It ticks over. These 2 teams don't need to have 2 pointers to win match as well. But Clifford's a big part of the scoring of Kerry. If we can keep him to 1-4, 1-5, 1-6, are we still in with a shout of winning Sam Maguire?
Definitely so. I think looking at it, obviously I think Brendan will pick him up. The one thing I think Brendan has over a lot of fullbacks in the country is pace. Brian McCall is a phenomenal athlete. The pace he has is incredible. And he's got all the big man marking jobs for Donegal this last 2-3 years and has done fantastically well. Kerry kick a lot of ball into Clifford. I think it's very important that Donegal get that double, triple up on David very early on. Don't give him space. You need to try and suck the oxygen out of him early doors, because you have to accept that Clifford is going to hit 4, 5, 6 points. I think if it gets to the stage that he's hitting that maybe 1-9, 1-10, 1-11, then you're getting into maybe a wee bit of difficulty, because Shawnee O'Shea probably didn't have the best game in the semi-final, so he's a lad that rarely goes 2 games in a row where he's quiet. So that's another fire Donegal have to put out as well. And obviously they have so much quality with Potty, and that's that team as well. And then the likes of a Killian Spillane coming off the bench. Young Burns is doing very, very well for Kerry since he's come into the fold as well. So I think it's about trying to minimise David to maybe 4 or 5 points, and you have to accept that he's going to kick that. But I think it's crucial that Donegal try and get as many double and treble ups on him when the ball is kicked in to get help around Brendan.
If we are going to create new memories here, memories that you experienced in 2012, we've seen some very impressive performances by Donegal, some very impressive halves of football. There was a couple of halves there that were a wee bit shaky, but then they were immense in other halves. So they were. Where do you see the level of performance from Donegal now here in this final, if they are going to be in with a shout of this?
Well, look at it. First off, it was a massive performance against Meath. It was probably the first time all year that Donegal put 70 minutes back to back. And it's very hard to get to that level again. So it's going to be interesting to see the first 10-15 minutes where Donegal is at level-wise. But I think they will reach it. I think they've been there now. Obviously, last year's experience, they've learned a lot from that. You could see that within the group. There's no panic stations with Donegal. That was very impressive about them in the semi-final. They were very workmanlike throughout the whole team. There was very little errors throughout. So, look, it's about getting to that there performance level that we did against Meath and more. I don't think that performance against Meath would get you over the line against the Kerry. I think there's definitely a few times where Meath threatened the odd time. So Donegal need to be wary, especially with the likes of Clifford. Obviously, we know they're key men. So, yeah, it's important that Donegal now on Sunday, early doors, I would like to see first 15-10 minutes that they're at the level. And then I think it's a matter then of going at it then for the rest of the game.
So you're confident? Yeah.
Oh, definitely so.
Neve Connell boys and the rest and the Glen Swilly men can all step up here, and we'll bring Sam back, because it's been missing for a while, so it has.
Oh, definitely. It'd be amazing now to get Sam Maguire back to Donegal, and to
have it back in Glenties, to go through the town again.
Ah, yeah, you
were part of that in 12.
Yeah, it was amazing time. I was only 20 at the time, and it was only a baby really, and you just remember coming into Glenties and the place packed. But it's funny, I remember coming in to Glen Swilly as well, and Michael and Copper obviously and Big Neil, and it's funny, it's things like that stand out too, going around the other clubs and seeing, their reaction to Sam Maguire coming. So it'd be brilliant now for the lads that haven't experienced that day, so hopefully Sunday is that day and they get the opportunity next week to to get around the towns with the cup.
We've worked it out. You're in your mid-30s now, then.
Well,
so we have. What about the club stuff coming up just finally? Championship, obviously.
Yeah, championship.
Yeah.
I think Gary's going to take me out now in a wee while here to see how the Glen Swilly training's going. So, but no, brilliant.
Did you see Gary's wall? It's up, no?
No, looking forward to the championship now. So we got a tough draw, obviously, with Glen Swilly first down here. So as I said, over the years, they've always been tough games and tough battles, and we've Ardra then obviously at home another derby game. So it'll be a tough championship again. Obviously, we're hurting after last year. We lost our title, obviously going for 3 in a row, and St. Eunan's took it off us. So it's back to the grindstone now again, and try and go at it.
We'll put him beside you in a seat. Don't be falling out with him now, Gary. Pick up that mic there, Gary. Good man.
Shake his hand today. Welcome today, mate. Welcome the next day.
Listen, Gary, how's things? Training session done? Prepping for Niamh Connell?
Yeah, it's a big ask now. Oshing with men like us sitting beside me, it's a huge ask. We'll worry about Sunday first and focus about that afterwards.
Yeah. Listen, it's fantastic for the club, Gary. We've had several conversations this week with the kids. We were down following the kids here, of course, on Tuesday, was it? Yeah. Tuesday, and there's a great atmosphere around here, and they've all gone Michael mad. Well, they're Michael mad anyway, but it's got even madder, so it has this week.
Yeah, definitely. It's a proud day for us. I suppose he was captain back in 2012, and for him to bring the Sam Maguire back to Donegal, never mind the Glen, it was incredible. And obviously Brick mentioned we had Neil and Copper that time. We're lucky enough to have 3 involved this time as well. We've young Jack Gallagher in the panel, so he's our club captain here, and then we've James Gallagher as well, who's the goalkeeping coach and the man keeping Sean Patton right. So he is. So we're very proud of the 3 of them, and 3 great men. Yeah.
We were talking about the Meath performance there just a few moments ago, and we beat Monaghan after a shaky enough start. Kerry have come through 2 tough games, so they have beat the All-Ireland champions Armagh, and they defeated Tyrone as well. 2 sides that Donegal know very, very well. Test-wise, were they good setups for Kerry as you go to an All-Ireland final, and how do you feel they are placed now ahead of Sunday? Some might say, well, Donegal beat 2 Division 2 teams, and Kerry toppled 2 Division 1 teams. So who's better placed here, Glen, Gary?
Somebody else asked me that earlier in the week, so did it, and I just thought we probably definitely had the harder provincial championship run, whereas Kerry were really going to test big Cork, so they did in Munster. Flip it around, then they probably had very much a harder run in the All-Ireland series, like we did in Ulster, like you said, Tyrone and Armagh, and whereas we probably had a bit of the draw was a bit kinder to us. So it was. We played those Division 2 teams, and I think I was looking there during the week. We won the preliminary round 13 points, quarter-final 14 points, semi-final 15 points. I would take 16 points in the final. So
I would take 1 point.
So I think they've been definitely road tested, so they have. I'm sure, and Brick's work very close with Jim, I can guarantee you that the Armagh game and the Tyrone game were like gold, because 2 different setups. So there were 2 different defensive strategies, the way they tried to combat Clifford. Tyrone went more a man-to-man. Armagh tried to get that double up with Joe McElroy coming back, and one of the wing backs coming back trying to get the double up on him. So Jim has both those, and he'll have it dissected what way he's going to go. But sure, listen, all he's went with all year is Brendan McCole, man marking zonal 10. So it'll be interesting, really, really interesting to see, is he going to change them that? You'll look at the Armagh game. Sean O'Shea kicked the lights out. Potty came on, kicked some superb scores. Can we afford? There's such good players playing between the lines. They will find the space between the lines, and their kickers and their scores. Can we accommodate that in our zone? I think we can, because our zone is so aggressive. Yeah. So it is, and I don't think earlier in the build-up after the semi-final, I was thinking he will mark him. The closer I get to it now, I don't think he will mark him. I think he'll just go with Brendan, Mark and Clifford, and helping Brendan when he can, and whoever's in Shawnee's zone and whoever's in Potty Clifford's zone, pick him up. It'd be really, really interesting, because it didn't work against Armagh. Tyrone did really well in Sean O'Shea. They held him to a point by man marking him. So I think Jim would learn so much from those 2 games. I've watched them on so many times since the Meath game.
If you were Kerry manager Jack O'Connor, and you were trying to set a plan out from Donegal, what's the sort of key areas that you think down that's part of the country that they're picking up on over the last two weeks and go, right, we have to work on this to try and stop Donegal?
I think they'll be delighted. Jack O'Connor will be delighted with the Meath game because he probably saw Donegal at their absolute best that day. Like, I think he'll just love having that there game, and he'll have plenty then with the other knockout games in the stages. I think it's hard to hold Donegal. You touched on there when you were chatting to Brick about the amount of scores we have. Like you said, we could go on with 10, 11 scores, and that's right. Yeah. And there's nobody coming up hitting like Clifford is hitting a 1-7. You mentioned there when you were speaking to Brick as well about can we hold Clifford at 1-4, 1-5. I think he's going to hit 1-6 and at minimum. And I think if we hold 1-6, I think we'll win the game. I think if David goes out and hits a 1-9, we're in bother. And it's going to be trying to hold him. Like, I think he's one of the generational footballers that we're lucky to see, and I just hope it doesn't go right for him on Sunday.
Yep. How big a part? We're just coming to the close of the show. I know we're running over a few minutes over time here, so we apologise into the next programme if we go on a couple of minutes late. Michael's role at the weekend. We talked about this today. Yeah, we had a couple of different scenarios because we get obsessed with it at times. But Michael's role could be pivotal on Sunday, so it could if Donegal are going to lift the Sam Maguire. Yeah. It will be because he plays such a key role now, and all this thought about being an impact sub and coming in for the last 15-20 minutes, that was absolute rubbish. Everybody was talking, so it was. But he is, as I said, he's going to be pivotal come the weekend.
He is, and listen, he's our star man at the minute for Donegal. Like, I was reading somewhere today, he's had 44 points. I think the next Donegal players had 30 points, so that's 44 points that we didn't have last year, and that gives us a huge bow to our string, so it does. It's massive the role he's going to play. I think Jim and the management team have been probably really lucky that they could pull him off in the semi-final and quarter-final and that, to make sure that he's fresh going into the next day. They've managed that situation really, really well. So they have, like I was even saying to you today, will they go back? I think it was 2005. I couldn't remember, it was 2005 or 2003 when Peter Canavan started, came off, brought him back on again. Because I think if the game's tight, going down the home straight, I would love to see Michael in the field. Yeah. And is that something we could see Jim
Does that happen, Brick? Is that possible?
Well, it is possible. Look at, I think it was 2003, Tyrone used that tactic with Peter Canavan, and I think I was watching that Hell for Leather there the last night, and Peter Canavan talked about that he was really shouldn't have been on the pitch, that he was, Mickey Hart took him aside and says, we feel that you're needed. He had 5 points from freezing the first half in that 0-3 final, so like definitely going into the last 10 minutes, you want a Michael Murphy on the field to play, like, because he's our leader. He's our heartbeat of that team, like. So look at it, something maybe Jim might have in the plans, but I honestly think I've never seen Michael as in good of shape ever. He's a phenomenal athlete there at the minute, like. You just see the shape he's in. It's fantastic for his age to come back after 2 years out, like. So no, I have a feeling that man will be on the field for the 70 plus minutes on Sunday.
If he was on and came off and came back on again, imagine the thinking of the Kerry defence, the back six, what they're thinking. Like, how are we going to handle this? But that could cause chaos, Gary.
Yeah, it could, and maybe it will be a curveball that Jim throws at him. When I was thinking back today, when somebody asked me, what about Michael, will he play the full game, and you were talking off the air day about the Armagh game, like, I'm pretty sure he saw through that game, so he did, and that game was unbelievable. So he is able, like, it's not as if people are wondering just because he was rested, like, I think if he's needed,
players go to a well, so they do, for big games under Jim McGuinness. But I tell you what, Michael Murphy's well. It must be something, because that day in the Ulster final he was immense, and I spoke to him afterwards, and he was shot like he came out, and you knew just by the way that he was walking that he had given it. There was something in there that he was able to find special on that day, and it was fantastic to see. But there's just something about Michael Murphy. There's this aura, there's this age that he brings to a game. His presence just on the field alone. We'll wait to see what way he's going to work it on Sunday. Just before we go, we didn't get talking about the bench, because these new rules of everybody running crazy and fresh legs are needed, and how key is the bench is going to be at the weekend, Gary? Just do you feel, and who has the stronger one, Kerry or Donegal?
Yeah, I think, waiting up for the match here on Friday night, and before the game I probably came in here 50-50, so I did, game really in the balance. I left here super confident after listening to the likes of Peter Canavan and Michael Clifford from Kerry and that, and our big Neil and Eamon McGee. I just left super confident with the arguments they put out. Like Michael Clifford put out that we're coming up against Kerry's third choice midfield here. Now I know last weekend Jack O'Connor threw out in his press conference that O'Connor, the midfielder, trained last Saturday, and Paul Geaney trained last Saturday, and the both of them are fit for selection.
You believe
this weekend? That's what I said. As he throwing out a red herring, these boys are these boys possibly totally gone and not a hope of playing. That's why he threw it out to get Donegal preparing. So I think then, looking down their strength and depth, I think they need the likes of Paul Geaney, they need the likes of O'Connor for them to get over the line on Sunday. Thomas Sullivan was injured the last game. He didn't play the last game either. I think they need him. He didn't train. Jack said he didn't train last Saturday. He still has trained, missed the semi-final as well. Peter Cavan made a great point here last Friday night. He says he looked down at the 11 subs for Donegal walking off, and he couldn't figure out which 5 he'll use, because he could make a case for every 11 of them. And I think our strength in them, like we haven't used Jimmy Brennan the last couple of games. We haven't used, like I said to somebody else, I think we'll use Niall O'Donnell on Sunday if the game's going down the home straight. He's won 2 Ulster Championships for us by coming off the bench, so he has. And I think both this year's both of them were extra time. He came off the bench and was excellent. I think people are saying to me, well, why do you not use him in the semi-final? Maybe he's trying to hold back and maybe thinking that Kerry think that Niall O'Donnell's not in his plans. But Niall, when the game's in the melting pot, I was lucky enough to work with him at school and that in the under-20s. He's a super intelligent footballer and he's a match winner, so he is, especially when players get fatigued. He's a huge footballing IQ on it.
Yeah. Listen, we're way over time, so we are in the score programme tonight. Just quickly, Gary, prediction, Sunday.
Yeah, listen, I think it's going to be super tight. I can't wait. I think it's going to be the All-Ireland that all neutrals really want. Like, usually there's tickets easy enough picked up. This year's just terrible, so it is. And I think because every neutral that gets the opportunity to go is going to want to go there, because I think it's going to be fascinating. Especially the best part I'm looking forward to is what way our 11 defend against Kerry's 11. I think this could be something. If it's not something new, the battle's going to be absolutely fascinating. I think go down the home straight, well, Nick could be about 1 or 2.
Okay, Gary McDade, Senior Manager, Glen Swilly, with his prediction. Brick, did I ask you for your prediction? No, I didn't know.
But
give us it now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I have to touch too what Gary says. Like, it's definitely like the benches are going to play a massive role come Sunday. Like, as it says, Killian Spillane, like, and young Burns have done very, very well for Kerry. If Paul Geaney is fit, like, that's a massive ace in the pack for Kerry. Like, he's a great footballer too. But just looking at it, just think maybe Donegal's running power on Sunday just might be a wee bit too much for Kerry. But again, I think we need to close down the likes of Potty, Shawnee O'Shea and David Clifford, and try and stop maybe the likes of Brino Bugley and Gavin White and Joe O'Connor, bringing the game towards Donegal. So, no, confident Donegal by 2 or 3 points, hopefully, on Sunday.
Okay, fingers crossed we get it. Many thanks to Dermot Brick Malloy and to Gary McDade. And also thanks as well to our earlier guests on the programme, where Barry Malloy, the chairman, joined us. We also had Nisha Enright, who is the man here in Glen Swilly with the link to Kerry, and of course to Mick Murphy, Michael's father, and to Jared McGrenra, who also joined us as well. Don't forget, there's lots happening with Highland's Road to Croker this coming weekend. All the details about our broadcasts in Dublin on Saturday and Sunday are available on our website and on our social media channels. And there's also loads of preview material pieces there as well to delve into as we look ahead to the All-Ireland final, which we hope Donegal is going to win and come back with Sam on Monday night back into the county. Thanks for listening, and have a very good evening. We'll be back with more sport in Highland tomorrow morning.
Highland Sports is brought to you by Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure. Now stocking a full range of Donegal jerseys and leisure wear at michaelmurphysports.ie.
Highland Radio. Your voice, your station.
It's the 2025 World Chip Sizzle Freestyle Contest, and Charlie's Chips are in the lead again. They're coming.
Champs and the 2025 World Champions. Sourced locally.
It's the 50% off mega summer sale at Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring. Up to 50% tiles, wood flooring, outdoor porcelain tiles, cladding and bathware. Everything in store has been slashed in price. The Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring.